Welcome back to MurrayMax. We have a new video from Charlie Kirk, and the context of this one is saying a veteran thinks the U.S. should go back to Afghanistan. I don't want to just blatantly disagree, but I do. But let's take a look at this. As usual, I haven't watched it. If you like it, subscribe. We do these video breakdowns and share our thoughts as we go.
How you doing, Charlie? First off, I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone in the crowd who has served our country and served our military.
Agree with that.
So my belief is that the United States should have a presence back into Afghanistan. And I know firsthand experience how it is with Afghan refugees. During 2021, when President Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, my unit was the one that had to deal with the Afghan refugees when they came into the United States. Operation Allies Welcome. And a lot of the stuff that I seen right there was not pretty. And a lot of the refugees that came over, a lot of them were either known or suspected of terrorism. Not to mention also, during the Biden administration, when millions of people came over through the border, everyone's focus is really on people from Latin America. But people are forgetting that a lot of the that came in were from the Middle East and were also known and unknown terrorists on the FBI watch list. So my thing is, we should have more presence in Afghanistan because there's a lot of Al-Qaeda that's still building up their numbers and a lot of other members that are here in the country because of what happened there. And so my question is also, what will President Trump do and his administration do to prevent the next 9/11? I've seen a lot of, are you familiar with Sean Ryan? With his interview with Sarah Adams, CIA targeter, she stated that the next 9/11 is bound to happen in the tens of thousands. So what can we do to prevent that happen? And we do need another a more presence in Afghanistan again.
The guy does make a fairly good point as far as what's happened since we've pulled out, and Joe Biden did a terrible job with that, obviously. We should have never been there in the first place. In my opinion, let me know in the comments what you think. But now that we have been there, is it kind of too late to just cut ties with it? Let me know what you think.
Okay, first of all, thank you for your service. I mean that, and thank you. I have to give you a compliment. You have an argument I've never heard.
That was the whole point, because I know everyone argues the same thing. And this is something I really believe in.
I'm giving you credit. So, to be clear, you would like to see a reinvasion of Afghanistan.
Not reinvasion, but more presence, like how we do in a lot of other countries.
Reinvasion, right, got it. Okay, that's fine. So, while I acknowledge all the things you say, let's first make sure we interpret what happened on 9/11 correctly. 9/11 was not a we did not occupy enough countries problem. 9/11 was an intelligence and, most importantly, an immigration problem. We allowed people into our country that were not American to come into our country.
Mm-hmm.
And
that one.
I'm sorry?
Inside job.
Yeah, well, we can have a question on that if you'd like, but we're not on that one now.
Yeah, don't get me started.
I would ask the question, what do you believe that President Trump was elected on? More foreign wars and more conflicts, or less?
Less foreign wars, but okay, do you believe it was a great idea to pull out of Afghanistan?
Not the way Biden did it, but yes, I actually do agree with it. I think the way he did it was disgraceful.
Yes,
I think we
13 service members died.
No, of course. I met some of the Abbey Gate family. It's terrible. It's like saying you got to get rid of your appendix and you take out a switchblade and just start doing it. I mean, it was the most terrible, gruesome way to do it. We should have protected Bagram Air Base. We never should have left $100 billion of military equipment in Afghanistan. But just to talk more morally clear, we need to protect our own borders a lot more than the borders of a foreign country.
Correct. So I know everyone is really distracted with the war in Israel, the war in Ukraine, Pakistan and India are heating up now. So a lot of the focus is not really on what's going on in the Middle East and what is going to happen. Not saying
the best way to prevent it is don't let them into our country.
Correct.
It's an immigration problem.
Correct. And
That's a great point. You know, we have this history that we're used to of just constantly letting so many people into the United States. And I'm not saying that we should stop all immigration forever, but this whole argument that like, oh, well, our birth rate is low, that we need to just like take on anybody and everybody from around the world. There's people waiting in line doing it the legal, proper way who have amazing, prestigious credentials. They're doctors, they're actually engineers, but for some reason we just want to let all of these other people flow in. It's like we have the ability to be pickier on how many and who we let into the country. There's just so many people that have been so used to just, oh, it's a human right to come here. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a human right for certain things, but coming to this country is not a human right. Let me know in the comments what you think about that.
President Trump has closed our borders, and they're not coming in as Trump, but the damage is already done. There's a lot of them that are already here.
We need to find them, and we need to root them out and kick them out of our country. Right. But that doesn't mean we should send more of our... For one, I don't want to see people like you and friends like you have to go into another no-win war in a foreign country where you might have to lose your life, where the objective is very unclear. I would rather have you be able to live a prosperous life here in this country, close our borders, and have very strict immigration.
And I'm grateful for my time in my service. I'm using my GI Bill right now. It's doing great.
Some people should go to college, and I'm glad you're benefiting.
A lot of my NCOs, while I was still in, when we did pull out of Afghanistan, did argue that this should have never happened. And as NCOs who were there fighting in Afghanistan, so they do feel like, it's also kind of a question, what about now? We went to Afghanistan. A lot of soldiers died. A lot of our service members died. What are we taking out of that?
That was one of the most disappointing and disgusting days in American history, with the withdrawal of Afghanistan and those 13 Marines that unnecessarily died, who Joe Biden to this day never called those Marines for their sacrifice at the Abbey Gate. Thank you.
I mean, that's a really good point, the way that it was handled. However, I'm a little bit older than the younger generations that meet Charlie on these campus tours. And I was a senior in high school when I woke up to watching one of the Twin Towers smoking and on fire. And we watched in my living room the second plane hit the tower. And I had a lot of friends who enlisted after that. And it just did not end up well for a lot of them. I have friends that, they gave everything, and some didn't come home. And so this whole Afghanistan thing, I'm kind of in a position to where I have extreme biases towards it. I feel like it was a pointless invasion in the first place. I don't want to take anything away from any veterans who served over there, but I do believe that America would have just been better off over the last, half century and more if we would have just focused on American issues and protected ourselves and kind of been not a complete isolationist, but been more leaning towards isolationism than we had been with trying to be the world's police and involving ourselves in conflicts across the world. Because as well-intended as you might be, you cannot justify the track record that we have where we only intervene in some conflicts. Oh, this genocide over here in Cambodia, that's fine. These genocides in Africa, that's fine. But all of a sudden, this one, we're going to pour all of our resources into trillions of dollars and fight this bad guy over here. And they just also happen to have benefits of certain industry leaders that are billionaires and stuff like that. I'm not anti-billionaire. I just know there's lots of people that make tons of money off of war. The war machine is real. And so, all things considered, I think that we should just do what Charlie Kirk is saying and focus on protecting our country and making our country more secure. Because like Charlie Kirk said, 9/11 didn't happen because we weren't doing other things outside of letting people into our country. These people were here. They went to flight schools in our country. And if we had never allowed just anybody and everybody to come over here, the hijackers would have never been here to begin with. Regardless of what you think about 9/11, if you think it was an inside job and you think it wasn't just, hijackers and things like that, or if you think it was hijackers that were allowed to do it, or if you think that it was even more nefarious than that, there's still points along the way where they couldn't have had a system to where they could blame hijackers if it was more nefarious, if they weren't here in the first place. If you believe that it was hijackers, then it couldn't have been done by hijackers if they weren't here in the first place. So every outcome that I see is made better and would have been a better end result had we just not been a country that just had wide open doors. And the whole Biden administration, this veteran here was referencing a guest on the Sean Ryan show that was talking about how in the future we can expect to be harmed more by terror. And I mean, What do you think would ever happen if you just left your border wide open to literally millions of people? There was a point where it was 10 to 15,000 people per day coming over the southern border. There's no way you can vet that. There's no way you can check that. And we all know a large portion of that was military-aged males. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. Sorry for the long rant at the end of this one. I'm going to keep pumping out videos. If you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe if you want. It's a new channel. We're trying to build it up. Got 17 subscribers right now. Hopefully by the time you hear this, it's a lot more than that. But thanks for tuning in to MurrayMax.